Hello, my name is Brian Perlberg. I'm Executive Director and Counsel for ConsensusDocs, and I'm very happy today to be reporting to you about the comprehensive update that we just accomplished and published of the 2011 update of ConsensusDocs. Today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about why we updated our documents and what those changes are and how you can benefit. And let me begin by saying that this is really only possible as a result of the hard work and dedication of a lot of volunteers who dedicated their time to benefit the design and construction industry. Rather than wait 10 years from our initial publication in September of 2007, the group decided that we needed to respond to changes in the industry in real time so that you would have better contracts and hopefully get better project results. So, today we're going to be talking about what those changes are and how they differ from our original publication. And again, this just happened in January of 2011, and this marks just 3 years after our first publication. So, what have we done since 2007? In September 2007, ConsensusDocs launched, and it was covered on the cover of E&R News magazine as a very significant event that had a lot of potential to improve the industry. How have we taken that mantle from a great start to 2011, which is today's industry? Well, for starters, I've already mentioned that we've increased the number of organizations and gotten increased practitioner participation in the documents. We've grown from 20 endorsing organizations, which had never been done before. We've actually grown to now 32 organizations. It's an open invitation for associations and stakeholders who are committed to trying to improve our industry. Usership, I might add, is up by double digits and has grown annually by double digits, even in a very down economy where there are a lot less contracts being signed. So the market share of people using ConsensusDocs continues to grow significantly. And we think that with the update of the 2011 documents, that upward trend will actually continue, especially when we start seeing some improvement in the construction industry. And then the other thing is that ConsensusDocs has been a leader and a consistent leader in emerging trends, responding to them, and actually leading the dialogue in that effort, certainly from a contract perspective. ConsensusDocs was the first to publish an IPD document, Integrated Project Delivery. We were the first to publish a contract document that addresses Building Information Modeling, or BIM. We were the first to come out with a document that comprehensively addresses green building design and construction. We were the first to respond to significant changes in federal laws to come out with a federal subcontract. And we were the first to come out with a subcontract. So you can see that ConsensusDocs has a lot of firsts under its belts, and now we're the first to respond to the dramatic changes in the 2011 design and construction industry by coming up with a comprehensive update that really meets today's construction industry. And that's really the significance of today's webinar, is that our contract documents are updated and really respond to changes in the industry and are leading that dialogue. So why should we update our documents in just 3.5 years? We've established a 5-year cycle for our updates. We did this one in 3 years because there was a couple of extraordinary needs. And let's talk a little bit about those. The most extraordinary thing clearly to happen in the design and construction industry from 2007 to today is a dramatic change in the landscape of the market conditions and the economy. Today's industry looks nothing like it did in 2007. And really that's a call for reevaluation of, do your contracts reflect changing market conditions and respond to those in a significant way. And I think it's actually noteworthy that in our 2007, there was a lot of provisions that at the time seemed different or unusual, or in some ways maybe in keeping with tradition. And I'm referring specifically to providing owner financial information to make sure that there's money for a project to get completed. That's something that we had in our 2007 documents that other standard documents don't have. And I think time has proven that that was the right move and the right contract provision. Now you'll see in our documents that with the change in economics and the economic conditions, that there are some changes that we had a refinement in our 2011 provisions, but not maybe a total, certainly a major change of philosophy. What else drove us that was different is that the practices, best practices, and latest best practices have changed in the past 3.5 years. I've talked before that we were the first to come out with a BIM document. Well, BIM is revolutionizing the design and construction industry. IPD is, we're learning from some of the early projects that are using IPD on their documents. And that is also changing, or at least providing some valuable information for best practices that we can learn from. And then another thing that's totally different in just the past 5 years is green building design and construction. It's really taking over a very significant share of the construction market. And our documents better reflect these emerging trends and conditions in the construction industry. Another change why you always update your documents is changes in the laws. There are new reporting requirements for, say, tax identification numbers that are now in the documents. That is something that the group is always looking at, new case law and laws that may affect contract provisions. Another thing is why we updated is that I mentioned before that we have 50% new increase in stakeholders and endorsers. Well, they bring new expertise to the table, and we want to learn and incorporate their good ideas and respond to those and put those into the documents. And you'll see some changes and some new documents that are really as a result of the new coalition members bringing their ideas to the table and volunteering their time. What I say is that this update really reflects active listening. Rather than wait 10 years to respond after the fact, we want to be a coalition that is on the forefront of actively listening to feedback from the industry. This feedback was actively solicited, and we responded and really debated every provision that was brought to the table from people who provided comments on the documents. And so we didn't just shove those comments in a drawer, but we actually actively looked at those. And then the other thing is in 2007 was the first time we published, so it's only natural that a more real-time update of the documents is going to occur, because 2007 was sort of a revolution for the first time, such a diverse group coming together to draft contract documents. And now it's only sort of natural to have a refinement of those terms and conditions to make sure you have consistent terms and conditions throughout a library of over 90 contract documents. And we were able to do that with the 2011 updates. So what has been updated? Well, our documents are organized by project delivery method, and it really starts with the 200 series, which is design, bid, build. We updated our core agreements. The 200 is the owner-constructor agreement, which used to be the owner-contractor agreement. We updated our owner-design professional agreement, the 240. We also updated the short-form versions of our contract documents. So instead of a long document that has, say, 36 pages, there's short-form documents and agreements that have about 12 pages that try to distill those essential terms and conditions. We updated the corresponding short-form versions of the documents. We also made a major, I should say, a minor change to our IPD document to make a change in the title. We updated our core design-build agreement, the 410. We updated our core construction management at risk document, the ConsensusDocs 500. We updated our subcontract, long form, and short form, which is the 750 and 751. We also updated our qualification statement at the contractor and subcontractor level. So what documents are new for 2011? That would be the purchase agreement, the 703, which is a document that could be very useful for someone who is purchasing non-commodity products. That is really an increasing trend and certainly done very prevalently in the water, wastewater world, where an owner wants to pre-purchase non-commodity products, or a contractor is purchasing large non-commodity equipment that may or may not involve some installation. We also published an insurance addendum to the 725 subcontract. So that provides a standard model for insurance provisions for that contract relationship. So let's talk about the 2011 update. And I got to say that I think it's really remarkable that the coalition was able to come together and build off the the core philosophy that was established. And I would say that we definitely didn't redraft the documents from scratch, but really it was, as I said, a polishing or a refinement, and it really furthers the drafting philosophy goals that we talked a little bit about earlier, and this just furthers them. So some general highlights in the 2011 update include maintaining the project first philosophy. And I think when you read the documents, you'll see that everything that is written is really driving towards a better project result, because that's really what we're after. That philosophy remains in the 2011 updates. As I said before, it's a revision, it's a refinement, not a redraft. And the other thing is the general highlights is that we did a lot of work on making sure we're incorporating best practices, the latest best practices for 2011 in our documents, and that means an easier use of BIM, a better call out of green design services, as well as an increased use of electronic documents or less reliance on paper documents. So let's go one by one and categorically as to the changes in 2011. One of the core philosophies of ConsensusDocs is to try to reduce claims and litigation and try to grow on better positive communications so the parties can work towards a better result rather than escalate claims. So how did we do that in 2011? What are the changes? Well, one thing, and I think one of the more significant changes in the documents now, is that if the non-prevailing party, the losing party in a claim, is now responsible not just for court costs, but also attorney's fees. This change was made to try to give an added incentive for parties to negotiate a settlement for claims rather than escalate claims. Another provision that was updated to improve the documents and try to facilitate less claims is that in the lump sum agreement, such as the ConsensusDocs 200 owner-contractor or constructor agreement, there's an extensive cost of the work provision in the documents. So even though it's lump sum, the cost of the work provisions are there in case there's a change order that can be addressed in a very specific manner to facilitate that change order process if it does occur, and hopefully to have less claims about change orders as a result. I might also add that during the cost of the work definitions that were also done in the design, build, and construction management agreements, you'll see increased provisions about auditing rights for the owner to provide a better accounting of costs of the work. And basically it's an open book cost of the work, so there's more transparency between the parties. Again, an attempt to reduce claims and increase communications. Another change in the documents was a small as far as the number of words, but significant, is that the constructor's review of the contract documents has been clarified with refined language. It no longer says as intended, as the results as indicated. It ends there. It doesn't has the definition of the contractor's review has been revised and clarified. Another change that is going to be helpful to litigation concerns is that the design professional now has an opportunity to cure defective work, or in this case defective design, rather than have a claim. So there's an opportunity to fix work. And this really mirrors what the constructor has in the contractor agreement. So with that, I'm going to close. There's a lot more information on the website. You can find red line strikeouts that show every single change from the 2007 version to the 2011. The documents, I think you'll find, do a great job of continuing the tradition of having a project-first philosophy, and that these documents just respond rather than wait 10 years, but do a really great job in facilitating better project results by using the latest and greatest. Thank you very much and have a great day.